Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with attorney Brian D. Lerner. Glad you all could make it today. I just finished a fantastic vacation in Europe, going through France, Holland, and Germany. If you ever make it yourself there to Europe, especially France, be prepared to walk up 10,000 flights of stairs and there's when you listen. In this particular episode, I'd like to concentrate a little bit on what some of the obstacles are with people who basically make it so that it's difficult to get an estate plan started. I mean, I can sit here and talk until I'm blue about the reasons that you should start an estate plan. But if you understand why there's some resistance to it and what some of the attitudes are, then it will be better in which to proceed forward. So, first of all, one of the obstacles, one of the biggest ones, are actually client attitudes. Okay, there's different emotions with property transfers. It's not just a pro forma, you're going to give person A this, person B that. I mean, there's always a lot of emotion involved. Like, well, if you're going to exclude this family member or that family member, or what if that family member gets more than another family member? There's tons of emotion that's involved when doing this. And, the fact that the client has come, for example, into my office shows they have some interest in estate planning, but for the most part, 99.9% of the time, they have no idea the amount of work essentially it will take in which to get from having no estate plan to having everything perfectly done. Okay? So, if you realize that before you walk in the door, it's going to take some work to get the information to the attorney, and that's not the last bit of information, that as we go through the process, we will need some more and so forth. That's how you need to look at it. Now, a lot of times, estate planning is looking at something that they should do, okay? Basically this obligation of what you should do a lot of times is inspired by, leaving and protecting a spouse, a child, or a loved one. Or in some cases, unfortunately, it's to protect their family against a predator, okay, or a vulture, as they would say. Someone who will swan down in at the moment of death in order to try to take everything that they can. It is unfortunate that that has to be one factor that people think of. And, unfortunately, a lot of people come into my office not so much to protect their wife and children, but to make sure that the predator doesn't get what is not due them. So, essentially, that's the way that it would need to go in order to look at the client attitudes. Now, a lot of times with TEAs, a lot of times there are actually tax advantages, very significant tax advantages to whomever this is passed on to. But unfortunately, sometimes the client wants, to look out for their own financial advantage, doesn't want to take the work necessary to protect the tax advantages that will be passed on to them. You have to remember, you may, pass on, which you will, everybody will, but the person who gets your property, they have to deal with everything, and if you can lighten their tax load by a considerable amount by doing estate planning, then it's something you should seriously look into, because saving a bunch of taxes on real property could amount to an enormous amount of money. It's not even anything that you have to have. It's not, that you're going to give $100,000 from your bank account or another piece of property. Just properly doing the estate planning itself could save all this money in taxes. And you know what they say, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. So that by itself could provide enormous relief to the beneficiary of a particular piece of property. So that's one of the problems. Another issue is the cost of doing it. It's not inexpensive to do a estate plan, living trust, durable power of attorney, advanced health and care directive, pour over will. All that takes time, analysis, procedures. It takes filing fees for different things. So a lot of times the cost itself is something that someone doesn't want to go into. But then you also have to look at things like, you already pay for probably medical insurance and health insurance and car insurance, and all that is just in case what happens too. You're not paying all that because you know that 3 weeks and 4 days and 6 hours from now you're going to need it. You do it just in case. A lot of that, of course, is mandated by the law. It isn't mandated by the law. You make an estate plan, but it's a just in case, okay? And if you can just in case do all this and be prepared, well then it'll be to your benefit in which to get this all done, because it'll give you a peace of mind, which that means less stress, and you'll know that your family is going to be taken care of, and any predators will be shut out from trying to get what is not theirs. Okay. Another item you should look at is lack of future supervision. You might have prepared the greatest estate plan known to man, but there might not be sufficient supervision of how to distribute it, when to distribute it, where to distribute it, whom does the distributing, all of that. So and this actually makes it so a lot of people don't want to deal with it because they know they're not going to have anybody that's going to be able to help them. But the fact is that unless you know of some way around death, it's going to occur 100% at some time in the future, and the property will be transferred to somebody somewhere in the future, 100%. So the only question is, whom will it be transferred to, when will it be transferred, in what proportion, and how? And at least your estate plan can take care of it. It's like you talking after you die. I mean, that's it. It's like you standing there saying, after you die, well, I want this to go there, I want that to go there. When my child turns this age, I want this to happen. When they turn that age, I want that to happen, and I want this person to be the guardian, whatever. I mean, it's a great way of talking and telling what you want after you die. That's really it. So those are the basics of it. There's also a different kind of predator that we have to look at. There's a lot of, unfortunately, groups that try to hone in on elderly people to get their money, to have them invest in things by improper means, for the solicitation of gifts, forgery, fraud, all kinds of stuff. So if you know that that's probably going to happen, because it does very often, if you have everything properly put in the estate and it's locked in there, it'll be a lot less difficult for a predator to come in which to do what is necessary. Okay, so these are some various ideas for you, all in a hope that you will see the benefits of coming in, getting your estate planning done. If you like the video, click like, subscribe, go ahead, give me a call. You can get a free consultation either my LA or my Long Beach office, and I'll let you know what the costs are to do everything. More in the coming videos. Thank you.